Hey everybody, hope we're all well today. James here from LAGFX, and as it is Sunday, we are bringing you another Sunday session video. If you're new to the channel, it's pretty much just where me and Luke, we run through the market and we show you our analysis and our bias for what we believe these markets will do in the coming trading week, and pretty much just how we're looking to tackle them. So on screen I have the euro to US dollar. The reason why it is a blank chart is just because sometimes I like to strip back all analysis and simply look at this structurally. So that is what we're going to do, and then we'll head over to the chart I have my full analysis on and talk through this. So obviously within our longer term structure and looking at this in a longer term outlook,
this last week just gone is probably one of my best trading weeks in history. I've been trading 7 years, and I've got to say the returns I've made this week are amazing. Let's just say we have some very happy clients.
We've recently had price break the low and therefore creating a new lower low in the market. As we zoom in, we see price is still following the bearish structure that it has been creating in the market. Just follow it along here, and therefore what we are working within is this as our impulsive wave, and this technically being the start of a correction wave. So we could argue here that on the 1 day time frame, this is a buy to sell. The price is potentially just about tapped, and therefore had the mitigation and reversal lower. We also have a zone up here, given that price was ever able to trade up this high, that we may see a reversal from. However, it seems that what's actually happening here really is that we've had a redistribution in the market. Now, the reason why I believe that, if we go slightly lower, is because looking at the parameters within a redistribution, we have all of this liquidity built within phase A, phase B. We then have this high volume push through, the reversal, the change of character lower. So therefore at this point, now that we've had that change of character delivered, which is the break of that major point here, we'd then be looking inside of this push down for any regions where we can find supply zones. So on this time frame at least, we're looking at this region here, and then potentially looking through it, if we just look at the wicks to see what is what, something up in this region as well. Now I will be going lower to try and find or refine these regions more, but as of right now it seems as if these are the major zones we are looking at. So just looking at it structurally, we've obviously had some form of tap up here. Whether we had this unrefined zone, I personally had it refined all the way up here, so I didn't actually see a tap in the market. However, as stated, we've had this change of character in the market here, which is going to be confirmation to me at least that we are now making that bearish run. We are showing signs of wanting to run the liquidity lows. So what I'm going to do now is head on over to the chart that I have fully analyzed and see what we have here. So I have many refined points of interest within this region. Obviously all the way from the very top, I have alerts set at each one of these. So it's just going to be a case of seeing how much demand can ever get introduced into this market so that we can try to determine exactly where price will reverse up to. Now that's all going to depend on what happens with the euro and the US dollar in this coming week. If we see the US dollar appreciating and the euro depreciating, of course what's going to happen there is the market is just going to continue moving down with this high volatility, and therefore it might be quite difficult for us to see any full pullback up into these regions. However, longer term I would like to see that. So it's just going to depend how much volatility we're seeing in the market. If price carries on the way it has been going with no real pullbacks, that's where we'll probably have to work within the lower time frames and try and get involved on the more fractal structure. However, ideally, I would like to see price pulling back into one of these zones. So that is it for euro to US dollar. Heading over now onto US dollar yen. So longer term, this market has delivered us with some breaks to the downside. We had a very heavy move down, as is evident within this region. And then within that, I've taken this as an overall impulsive wave. We've been delivered with a correctional wave, and then we do actually have a point of interest at the very top. Now, the way that the dollar has been recently, the dollar has had a lot of strength, and therefore I'm believing it could be unlikely that we see price reverse it and make a move lower because of the fact that we have so much strength within the dollar. However, we will still be watching for any form of confirmation there. So what we may see is, with this being a protected low as of current, if we are delivered with a change of character of this low, so we'll place an alert at 136.727, that could be early confirmation of a reversal lower. So let's say we see that change of character, a pullback, a reaction to a new supply zone, and then we see price continue to trade lower. Okay, maybe we are then getting the reversal, but we can see that over the past few days, we have very much been heavily in control in terms of demand. We've been seeing price reacting to demand zones. We've been seeing price have a lot of volatility and volume to the upside. So we pretty much just have to see this supply zone here introduce enough supply to flip the supply and demand balance into supply's favor, which I believe will be tough because of how dominant demand is at the moment. We'll have to see that much supply introduced in order to see that reversal lower. So we'll just have to see what happens there in the new week. What's going to happen is either price is going to break this level, we're going to see that retest and see price then coming lower, in which case we'll be looking to take sell positions, or price invalidates that. And longer term, we're going to be looking at price to surpass these liquidity highs, and therefore we'll be looking to get involved in this shorter term bullishness, as I have done here, following that fractal structure and trying to get involved on that. Another market that I want to go over is actually going to be the Great British Pound to US dollar. I believe this is a market Luke will likely also go over because he's had a brilliant trade on this. But pretty much we've seen price, it's slightly liquidated this zone, but I believe on a Sunday session, potentially a while back, I was updating this analysis, or it was at least in the VIP chat. We have this as an impulsive wave. We saw price trading bullish all the way up. We've reacted to the supply zone. We've then had that higher time frame change of character. Price has retested, created a lower high, and then from there we've continued to trade bearish lower, breaking the previous low, therefore putting in that lower low. And this entire move lower has been created with a lot of downside volume. We are now approaching the final target, and therefore approaching a region where we are putting in a new lower low, and therefore once we have exceeded that final target, we can then start to look for a potential correctional wave, which, looking inside of here again, I have many refined zones that price may want to come and react to. We can also look at taking the unrefined zones as well. So pretty much once we see price exceeding the final target, we'll then be looking for some correctional wave to come back in, tap us into one of these zones, and then seeing that next impulse lower. So I'm expecting price to continue trading lower. Pretty much all dollar quote pairs I'm imagining will continue trading quite heavily bearish in this coming week. And then, for example, all dollar base pairs probably going to continue trading higher. So following the fundamentals, that is what I'm seeing. And technically, there's not too much we can go off now because we are simply within such a high volume phase of the market. It's going to be hard for us to see these deep pullbacks, and therefore a lot of what I'll be doing likely in this coming week is following the fractal structure, looking to take those scalp like trades, just to try and capitalize on the current market phase we are within. Something I always stress to people is understanding the phase you are in and then tailoring your strategy to that phase to ensure that you can be profitable no matter what the scenario. So that is my bias on a couple of markets there. I'm now going to pass you over to Luke, who's going to give you his bias on a few markets himself.
How are we going on, people? I hope you're all okay. I hope you've enjoyed the analysis James has provided for you all today. Now, coming over to my section, I'm basically going to analyse the same pairs that I analysed last weekend, show you how we got on, show you what my plans are for the coming week, and just show off a little bit in terms of the trades that we placed. So the three pairs I'm going to be analysing are the Great British Pound to the USD, the AUD USD market, and the XAU USD market. Looking here on screen, we can see how this was a trade that played out perfectly in the eyes of my analysis. If you watched my last week's Sunday sessions video, you'll know that I was looking for price to tap into this point of interest here, provide us with the confirmation we needed in order to enter in the markets. Once that was delivered by fractal breaks of structure, we placed our short positions and then we held throughout. I will be looking for some kind of pullback, potentially around this area here where we can look to get into those sell positions with a refined entry. I'll have my stop loss above the swing high and then my take profit down, as I said, at the swing, the higher time frame swing. See here, we had an 8 pip stop loss with a take profit target of 333 pips. Now, as you can see, price has played out amazingly. It is still running and we are still holding. As of now, this trade is running 31 RR, which is obviously amazing. Again, we have our take profit of 337 pips, which gives us a 39 RR risk to reward ratio. Obviously, I risk 2% of my equity, so we're looking at nearly 80% returns from one position if take profit was to be hit and if we didn't take any partials. Now, come Monday, how do I see price playing out? Well, if I'm being completely honest with you, I would like to see price actually go and take profit before trailing us back higher. But on the off chance it doesn't and it starts producing us with clear bullishness, I have this area highlighted here where I will be looking for further sell positions. So that doesn't mean to say we can't look to get involved in those buy before sells. So let's just say on the off chance price does in fact start to take us higher, I'd be looking to buy into this zone and then sell, taking us lower. So what we would need is a break of structure to the upside, some kind of bullishness, confirmation that bullishness is underway, and then we can look to get involved. And then I'd close those positions and look to re-enter for those sells around this zone here, presuming we have the confirmation of a reversal back to the downside. But yeah, this was a brilliant trade. I'm actually going to make a top trades of the week on this pair and AUD USD later on today, and I'm going to get that uploaded sometime next week. Just going through my analysis, my preparation for the trade, where I executed, when I executed, and why I executed, and then how I went about monitoring and basically making the most out of those positions. This last week just gone is probably one of my best trading weeks in history. I've been trading 7 years, and I've got to say, the returns I've made this week are amazing. Let's just say we have some very happy clients. So yeah, hopefully we can carry this momentum on through till next week, and we can make even more profits and make even more money and even more returns from the positions that we are placing. Now moving over to AUD USD. This is again another market that we traded not actually last week but the week before, and we carried over. Again, I provided analysis on last Sunday sessions video with my entry and how I entered. And it looks well as of now. I did in fact place a position here, which is still running at the moment. Obviously, we're in a slight drawdown, but I have the protection here with my stop loss above this structural high, hoping to see price break these lows and start generating us with that bearish structure. Again, look for those sell positions. We are seeing the US dollar increase in value as time goes on, so we want to obviously be looking to sell into these markets where The US dollar is a quote currency. I had my stop loss set above this structural high, which held. This was obviously a protected high, and as we can see, price has played out beautifully. I had my take profit set at the swing lows here, just to be safe. We could have set it lower. I have a higher time frame take profit target set a lot lower, but I'm wanting to see some kind of correctional wave take place in order for me to look for those further sell positions. But yeah, as you can see, we had plenty of confirmation. I entered quite preemptively, presuming from this move here that price was then going to take us lower. We did see price actually distribute, give us, you know, that momentum and then that evidence that price is actually looking to reverse, just down to this consolidation phase that took place. Then we saw fractal breaks of structure, higher time frame breaks of structure, and then as you can see, price was underway. Again, a brilliant trade. We're looking at a 10 RR from this position, me risking 2% of my equity. I brought home 20% from this trade. I didn't take any partials. I just let it run. I obviously implemented good risk management, moving SL to entry, and then trailed my stop loss, but I didn't take any partials from this position. So this was a brilliant trade that was placed. Now moving forward, how am I looking to tackle this market? Well, very similar to Great British Pound USD. I am looking for that correctional wave to take place. Trail us back into this spot, this zone that I've highlighted. So make note of this zone here. And then I want to see a new impulsive wave take us lower. Now this means that we can take advantage of both those sell positions and those buy positions. So obviously buying into this market before the heavy sell-off. Evidently, we just need that confirmation that bullishness is underway and this correctional wave is underway. But I actually could have a final take profit target of somewhere down here. So if we just mark this out, this zone being 0.66808. So this would be my final take profit target, which I think is more than achievable considering we are in a bearish market. But as you can see here, I had a point of interest highlighted, price came down, set a structural low, came up, taking that correctional wave, that higher time frame correctional wave, tapped in perfectly, and then we've seen a lovely impulsive wave take us lower. Again, I want to see a correctional wave, and I want to see this bearishness continue, just as it has done here, taken so here, breaking this last structural low, following that higher time frame bearish structure. Finally, moving over to XAU USD. Again, this is another pair that I analysed last Sunday and it's played out perfectly. I had a point of interest highlighted here. I had a less refined point of interest actually, which took us throughout this whole zone. But I refined my point of interest later on in that evening, and as we can see, price played out perfectly again. It has tapped into this zone, shown signs of slowing down. The momentum has slowed. We have then seen bears take over in this market. We've had plenty of breaks of structure. Looking here on the 1 hour, we can see how these structural lows have been broken, and we've seen continued bearishness throughout. Again, another brilliant position. This was a position that everyone could have taken advantage of if they watched the Sunday sessions video and highlighted the zones themselves. Now again, how am I looking to tackle this market? Well, if I'm being completely honest, with XAU USD, it can be quite tricky to look for those entries and find areas that we can look to get involved in. But essentially, I have a final take profit target of an amount down here being 1682. So we could look for some kind of pullback, some kind of correctional wave, potentially around here, looking at any inefficiency, maybe somewhere around here, looking to get involved, looking for that trail back, and then we can look to place those sell positions and ride price down to our final take profit target. Now, this was a position that I didn't actually place. Yes, I've done the analysis for it, and I provided the analysis for it, but I didn't actually manage to get an entry. So I am actually going to be actively looking for those sell positions come the open on Sunday evening. Now, as always, my analysis is quite brief. I basically just give you zones and areas to look out for. I give you my direction of the market that I'm looking to trade. I give you my bias. I believe that's enough in order to look to enter into the market. If you want more in-depth analysis with how I look to get my entries and how I look to execute my positions, then head over to the Learning Lounge group chat. You'll find loads of information in there, and you'll find in-depth analysis as well to help you actually execute these positions. But again, as you can see, we placed two trades last week, both of which have done extremely well. We have seen a take profit hit on AUD USD, and we are heading that direction with Great British Pound to USD as well. This is just a great insight onto how I like to trade and how I look to place positions. If you know me, I believe in quality over quantity. You have mentors and you have other forex traders that are in this industry placing 4 or 5 positions a day. I highly disagree with that. I think I just don't believe that is a safe way to trade or an efficient way to trade. I think you should find setups that give you as much confluence as possible, that help build that bias as much as possible. At the end of the day, we are trading based off probability. So you want to find positions that give you as much probability as possible, place those positions with confidence, and enjoy the profits. It's as simple as that. So I look to place maybe 2, 3, 4 positions in a week, but as you can see, the returns that are offered are absolutely amazing. Again, I had a brilliant week last week, looking for another brilliant week this week. I've got my zones, I've got my areas. I'll wait for price to confirm those entries, and then I'll be looking to execute those positions. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed my analysis, my bias. The same with James's. If you have done, don't forget to leave the video a like. All the support you guys provide is very much appreciated. If you have any questions regarding my analysis or James's analysis, leave them in the comments below. We make sure that we reply to everyone that comments. Now, with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next Sunday Sessions video.